I'm seeing more and more people weighing the difference between living in Maryland or hopping the line and going into Pennsylvania where they think it's cheaper to live there. So in this video, I'm going to cover whether or not it really is more cost effective to move to Pennsylvania versus Maryland. So let's just jump right in. Hey everyone, my name is Eddie Brady and I'm a realtor here in Maryland, and I just recently got my license in Pennsylvania as well. And the reason I got that was because so many people just like you are weighing the difference between living in Maryland and living in Pennsylvania. And because so many of them do decide to move to Pennsylvania, I decided to help service them as well in that state. So if you're watching this video and you're trying to determine where you should move to, you're in the right place. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. All right, so what I'm finding most frequently is that people that work in Maryland, and I'm talking about Anne Arundel County, Baltimore County, Howard County, Carroll County specifically, are talking about moving to Pennsylvania and commuting to work from there. And the reason they're doing this is they think they can get more for their money by moving over the line into Pennsylvania. And the interesting thing here is I don't see it happening the other direction. I do not see people that work in Pennsylvania moving to Maryland saying it's cheaper. So there must be something to this, so let's look at it. In one of my most recent videos, I just went over the Forbes list for the cost of living rankings in 2023 for all of the states in the US. And as a refresher, Maryland came in at the 7th most expensive place as far as cost of living goes in the entire nation. On average, it costs about $48,235 for a Marylander to live here per year. And at the end of the year, they're left with about $21,515 in disposable income. Pennsylvania, on the other hand, comes in at number 22 on the list with cost of living, and it costs about $40,066 a year to live in Pennsylvania. That means it costs $680 a month more to live in Maryland versus Pennsylvania. But the difference here is that Pennsylvania ranks at number 23 on the list with highest disposable income at $18,404. So even though Maryland is more expensive to live in, the residents here have $260 more a month in their pockets to spend on whatever they want. That's the equivalent to a great vacation every single year. But here's where the data from Forbes really gets this wrong, because they're not taking into account the people that live in Pennsylvania but work in Maryland, which is the people I'm talking about in this video. So what we really have to do is take the Maryland income and subtract it from the PA cost of living to see what disposable income you'd really have moving to Pennsylvania. The average income for an employee in Maryland is $69,750 a year compared to $58,470 a year in PA, and that leaves us with a disposable income of $29,684 for those working in Maryland but living in Pennsylvania. That's $8,169 more in your pocket just by moving over the line into Pennsylvania. So working in Maryland, living in Pennsylvania, that's equivalent to an 11% increase in your pay just by hopping over the Pennsylvania border. So why don't more people move to Pennsylvania then if you're going to make that much more a year in disposable income? Well, I think the main factor that I'm seeing from my clients is the commute. Unless you're in northern Baltimore or somewhere like Westminster working, it's going to be at least an hour to commute to most of the employers in Maryland from most of the places in Pennsylvania. And most people just don't want to be in the car that long. They don't want to be away from their families that long. And it costs more maintenance on your car, more gas to be in the car that long. And the other reason is that some areas in Pennsylvania can be as pricey as places in Maryland, and a lot of the property taxes in Pennsylvania are more than Maryland. So you really have to make sure you're moving to an area where the true cost per square foot is lower than Maryland. But the people I see moving to Pennsylvania and working in Maryland the most are those that have remote working jobs. Those people that don't have to go into work, or maybe they only have to go in one day a week. Those are the people I see that see the most benefit by moving to Pennsylvania and still working in Maryland. And then there's also those who either have a company car or a government car, and they allow them to travel that far of a distance into Pennsylvania. Maybe they have a 40-mile radius or a 45-mile radius from the company itself, and it allows those people to cross over the border into Pennsylvania and drive a company car so they're not so upset about the long commute to work. Now, if you do decide to move to Pennsylvania because you do think it's going to be cheaper for you, are you going to get the same quality house that you do in Maryland? Well, I think they're almost identical. I think you'll see the same variety of houses, the same styles that you do in Maryland into Pennsylvania. And another thing is the new construction builders in Maryland that are building massive communities here are also building those same communities in Pennsylvania. So you could nearly get the same exact floor plan with the same exact builder on the Maryland side and the Pennsylvania side. But how about the things to do in Maryland versus Pennsylvania? Are they both the same in that category? Well, I think they are. I think they both have the Appalachian Mountains nearby where you can go camping and hiking and mountain biking. And they both have pretty equal drives from the most popular areas to the beaches on the Atlantic coast. So I really think they're very similar in the things to do and the options for shopping and all of the things like that. So if you're moving from Maryland to Pennsylvania, it's not a big switch up. I personally would love living in Maryland more. I think Maryland has a lot more to offer as far as the downtown scenes in these cities, but so does Pennsylvania. They have a lot to offer there as well. So it really is a toss-up, and I can see why so many people do decide to move to Pennsylvania. And the last thing I'll mention about Pennsylvania is it is a much more rural state than Maryland. Yes, Maryland has farmland in Frederick County and Carroll County and out in western Maryland, but Pennsylvania is full of farmland. You're going to see a lot more of it out there. So if that's more of your vibe, you'd probably want to go to Pennsylvania. If you want that in Maryland, you're probably paying a little more to be on a lot of land or near a lot of land, so just keep that in mind. So if you're considering moving to Maryland versus Pennsylvania, I hope this short video was helpful for you. I know I did not cover every aspect of moving to Maryland versus Pennsylvania, but if you do need more detail or you want to run ideas by me or figure out which is best for you, please reach out to me. You can just go into the description or in the comments below and schedule a one-on-one call with me. You can also reach out to me on my cell phone listed below or my email, or go to my Instagram at Eddie Brady Real Estate and send me a DM. However you reach out to me, I'll be happy to help you get a plan together for your move. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of my videos about moving to Maryland and now Pennsylvania.